I stopped putting gas in my wife's car and she called a tow. So for like 4 years, this was just our routine. Every Sunday, I'd take her car, fill the tank, run it through the wash, and bring it back. She never touched a pump. Honestly, I didn't mind. I make more. I don't hate driving, whatever. It was just the thing I did. Then back in the summer, I noticed money getting weird. We've got a joint account for household stuff, and there was this like $400 a month just gone. I asked her about it, and she goes, "That's gas and groceries, Daniel, calm down." And I let it go because I felt kind of stupid even asking, but it kept nagging me. So one night, I actually sat down with the statements and went through everything. Groceries were groceries. But there was this recurring transfer, $200 twice a month to an account I didn't recognize. I asked her flat out, "What's the transfer?" She got real quiet and then said, "It's for Marcus, her brother, who's like 34 and hasn't held a job since before we got married." Turns out she'd been covering his car payment out of our account for 8 months. I said, "You're paying his car note with our money and telling me it's gas?" And she goes, "He's family. You wouldn't understand. You've never needed help." So I told her I was done funding Marcus. She said, "Fine," dramatic, slammed a cabinet, the whole thing. I figured that was the end of it. Here's the part I did that I guess makes me the bad guy. The next Sunday, I didn't fill her tank. I didn't say anything about it either. I just didn't do it. My thinking was, if she's got $400 a month for gas, she can put gas in her own car. Let's see where that money's actually going. She didn't notice. Drove around all week on whatever was in there. Wednesday, I saw the light was on. Thursday, it was still on. I said nothing. I wanted her to hit the pump herself one single time. Friday morning, she leaves for work. 20 minutes later, she calls me screaming, "My car died on Route 9. I'm stranded. Where are you?" I said, "Did you run out of gas?" She goes, "No, something's wrong with it. It just stopped. I already called a tow. They're charging $180. You need to Venmo me right now." So I drove out there, pull up behind her on the shoulder, hazards going, and the tow truck's already hooking her front end up. I asked the tow guy to hold on a second, popped her gas door, and yeah, bone dry. I told him, "It's out of gas, man. You don't need to tow anything." He looks at her. She looks at me, and she goes, "It is not out of gas. I filled it Sunday." I said, "No, I filled it Sunday. Every Sunday for 4 years. This Sunday I didn't." The tow guy's just standing there. "You want the tow or not?" And she's still insisting the engine's blown, telling him to take it to the shop, and I said, "If you tow a car that's just empty, they're gonna charge her a diagnostic to tell her it needs gas." That's when it clicked for her that I'd stopped on purpose. Her whole face changed. "You let me run out? You know you, and you let me sit on the side of the road?" I said, "You told me you had $400 a month for gas. I figured you were handling it." She lost it right there on the shoulder. Said I humiliated her. Said I did this to prove a point. Said what kind of husband watches his wife's gas light for 3 days and says nothing. I said the kind who found out his wife's been lying to him about money for 8 months. She paid the tow guy his $180 for showing up. Then she stood there waiting for me to go get a gas can because that's the routine, right? I go, she waits. I got back in my car, rolled the window down and said, "There's a station half a mile back. You've got the money for it. I know you do." And I drove to work. She hasn't let me pump her gas since. She fills it herself now, cash, and she keeps the receipts on the counter where I'll see them. Marcus got his car repossessed last month.